Our last anime for this episode is Daemons of the Shadow Realm. Now, this was a DJ Montague pick. He picked this one.
Why did you say it like that?
Because it's true. You decided that this was one we were going to watch, so you picked it.
This is the new anime from the original writer of fucking Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Am I lying saying you didn't choose it?
Yeah, but you have to add some context as to why it gets chosen. Probably widely considered one of the greatest animes of all time, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. This is the next step. And also, I'm a fan so far.
I mean, you can see the related themes. Siblings. Main character, blonde hair with red eyes. Blood.
Lots of it.
The one sister kind of looks like the Lost or whatever from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you got chompy teeth. You got military dudes.
Gluttony's in there.
Yeah. All makes sense.
Good job, Greg.
So far. Yeah.
All right, you're doing good. All right, let's.
All right, here we go.
It.
Okay, episode 1, Demons of the Shadow Realm, starts on a dark and stormy night with a scene of the 2 stone guardians of the village and a woman giving birth to twins and an old lady telling her, "Don't give birth yet. Don't do it. It's almost dawn." But the other midwife is like, "Man, what the hell?" But the old lady says that even if it's crazy, she's got to endure, and says that these kids will command the Daemons someday. Morning has come, and the 2 babies are crying, and there's a dude with red eyes, I assume the father, looking worse for wear, and says that children dividing night and day have been born. Cuts to 16 years later, and a blonde boy is hunting a pheasant with a bow and arrow and domes the bird, and then he looks up in the sky with the same red eyes as the dude from before, and he hears what sounds like an airplane, but only sees the contrails, and says there's a perfect trail of dragon gas. He rides his horse back with his fresh kill, and there's a dark-haired boy, Donji, waiting at the twin stone guardian statues, and he's like, "Hey, yo, were you hunting alone again? Why didn't you invite me? That's dangerous." And Yudu, who is the blonde boy, is like, "Whatever, man, it's fine, because the left and the right will protect me," as he refers to the stone guardians, and then they argue how they're going to cook the pheasant. They go through the village and talk to the other villagers, and they run into the granny and midwife lady from the beginning that were helping give birth, and then Yudu goes inside to see his sister, Asa. Asa is chilling inside of a cage, and they talk about their days, and Yudu is like, "Man, I wish I caught a boar or a deer. Winter's gonna be rough, walking to school uphill both ways in the snow." Asa is like, "Damn, will the adults have to go down the mountain to work? Are you gonna go too?" And Yudu is like, "Nah, if I hunt real good, then I won't have to go down to work." Asa is like, "You're not gonna leave like our parents, are you?" And he's like, "Nah, girl, I'm never leaving the village. I protect you." The midwife lady rolls up and is like, "Yudu, Dera just got back, and all the villagers are looking at all of the stuff that Dera brought back from down below." Yudu is like, "Dera, what's good?" And Dera is like, "You want any of this shit?" And Yudu is like, "Nah," but he tosses him a red ball and said it's for Asa. And Yudu pockets it, and Dera says pheasant feathers fetch a good price. That's another alliteration. I'm fucking full of them tonight.
You're killing it, dude.
Cuts to Dera leaving the village, and Donji and Yudu talking, and Donji says he wants to leave the village, and says that almost no one who leaves to work comes back. And Yudu is like, "I wouldn't mind living in the village my whole life." So then I have a note here that says, so I assume, quote unquote, leaving the village and going down to work is just entering the real world because they're like in Wakanda right now and shielded from the world.
I mean, excellent, Greg. I was like, oh man, what was that M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh, The Village. Yeah.
The Village. I mean, because those sounds of the airplane are just unmistakable.
Yeah, the sounds of a dragon. Unmistakable.
Dragon gas.
Yeah. Yudu and Donji talk about Asa and Donji being a piece of shit, but they hear the sounds of a dragon and see the contrails in the sky again, but now they can hear helicopters and are like, That's a weird roar for a dragon. No dragon I've ever heard of. They're like, damn, that sounds close. Hey, have you ever seen a dragon before? And Yudu is like, nope. But then it cuts to a scene with a hand casting some sort of magic, and then the barrier around the village dispels. Cuts to Dara, who stops his journey down the mountain and looks back ominously, and then cuts to Danji and Yudu, who can now see the airplane that's creating the contrails, and then they see the helicopters circling the village. The villagers are all freaked out, except for the kids who think it's cool as shit, and then some soldiers just start murking villagers. Cuts to Granny, and she's like, the barrier! It's been broken somehow, and they're probably after Yudu, and they need to hide him. Cuts back to Danji and Yudu with a bunch of dead villagers, and they start to run to the village center, but encounter soldiers, and Yudu shoots them with arrows, and then Danji and Yudu double dragon knee them in the face as they narrowly miss, eating some bullets.
Danji kicks him. His leg is all the way extended.
Oh, yeah, I mean, what a double dragon.
Yeah.
They make it to the Stone Guardians, and Yudu uses a secret passage to get to the building that Asa is at. And then it cuts to the helicopters dropping off a girl in a red hoodie, and she's like, hey, villagers, what's good? And then starts gobbling them up with her invisible spirit gobbler. She then gobbles the girl's mom, who is turning 7, and she's like, I don't gobble kids, teehee. Then hops on her cell phone and reports the area's clear as she pops a couple pieces of lime mint gum and to send in the ground forces, but then she loses contact with them.
This is kind of hardcore, though. I mean, she's just like, gobble, gobble, and people are just getting fucking ripped in half, and you're just like, whoa. And the animation's very pretty, but yeah. Very wild. I was like, oh shit.
A little sneak peek to the end of the episode where things aren't as they appear. I think it's kind of insinuated that this village is holding some sort of secret, or like for some reason it's hidden and all of this stuff. And then we see another figure appear that is supposedly trying to free Yudu, but then Yudu doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And I don't know. I just think it's weird that these villagers are just getting eaten in half by some invisible teeth monster. And like, how are you supposed to feel about that? Because let's pretend this other figure that appears later on in the episode, everything they say is completely true. They're right. And this village is fucked up. But now it's kind of like, all right, you still killed like a bunch of villagers. So unless it's like exposed that these villagers are actually like secret assassin actors or something like that, or they're not actually real people or something.
At one point they show that, right? Like they kind of say like this village isn't all it seemed to be. Like not all of the adults are probably actors, but I would assume a few of them have decided to either go out to this area, have a barrier, and seclude this group for the safety of certain situations, or the safety of Yudu and Asa, because there's got to be somebody that's old enough to know, and we see that with the grandma.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I just don't. So it's insinuated here that Gabby, who is a girl that's crunching people, the villagers can't see what is chomping them up. So even if these villagers are a part of something like bigger or whatever, I almost don't.
The villagers are innocents.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that like the casual killing of innocent villagers, no matter if this village is like good or bad.
Right. No. This is all terrible. Everybody here is terrible, is what my assumption is. I mean, the villagers are just trying to survive.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a government-based organization or some sort of shadow organization, and they're taking advantage of like normal human want to survive.
Even if that is the case, I hope they explain it later, because it's hard for me to get on like Gabby's side for just crunching up villagers.
I'm not on Gabby's side.
But I think we're supposed to be, like, later on. I think, because if you watch the intro and the outro, they're all, like, hanging out together and shit. And that's not a spoiler, because that's in the intro and the outro. I think, like, in the end, they come to terms with what's going on, and then Yudu and Asa are just hanging out and shit. And then Gabby's hanging out with Asa, too, so everyone's just kind of hanging out together. But we don't know any of this yet. This is all part of the story that hasn't been developed in fucking episode 1. This is just me kind of verbally saying what's going on in my head right now.
I don't think that there was an intro in this episode, Greg.
Okay, episode 2. When you watch the intro, the outro of episode 2, then you'll fucking see some shit.
Yeah.
But okay, so it cuts to Dara, who looks to have overpowered the soldiers and knows how to use a Glock 17, then hops on his cell phone and talks to Hana. And he's like, yeah, man, this sucks. I think Asa is here. Cuts to the keep and a figure dragging Granny's body, and then it stops at the cage Asa is in. And it's like, oh, I see how it is. And then they blast the cage with Asa along with it. Yudu shows up and sees the destruction, and he's like, oh no, Asa. But the figure says, yup, that's me. What's up, my brother? I've come to get you and to kill everyone in this village. Yudu is like, nah, you're not my sister, and then falls from the pylon down in the Sky City and then is rescued by the Millennium Falcon. But he draws his bow to shoot her, and then she blows up the wall. So that was my attempt at making a no, you're not my father, Luke Skywalker reference that just missed completely, which is okay.
Okay. I see.
Which is okay. It's fine. It's fine.
No,
Nope.
I see what's going on now.
No applause needed. All right. It cuts to Dara, and he's like, oh, they disguise themselves as mountain rescue helicopters, those sly dogs, and then runs through the village, blasting soldiers, but then runs into Gobble Girl Gabby, and he can see her Daemon chompers and just hits her with the old fadeaway grenade behind the back.
Shit was hot. This was dope. He was like, threw that shit before I came in the room. Greg, do you know what that reference is, though?
No.
That was a Black Dynamite reference, which I've been...
Oh, let's go.
I love that movie so much.
0 for 2 on references so far. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what we do here, dude.
Cuts back to Yudu and Asa. And Asa is like, I just meant to break your arrow, but I literally just blew up half the castle. Oops. But then the red ball Yudu got from Dara falls out of his shirt and rolls into young Asa's blood pool. But then some blood daemon pops up and restrains future Asa, and Granny tells Dara to take Yudu and run. And he teleports in and grabs Yudu and runs, and to hide in the real world below, and to not let them find him as they run past Donji and his mother. They get to the Stone Guardians, and Dara is like, hey, yo, we heading down the mountain. And Yudu is like, man, what is going on right now? And Dara is like, no time to explain. But they are pinned down by sniper fire from the helicopter as Dara tries to shoot down a helicopter with some 9mm and then
I think he's just trying to provide cover, Greg.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
Sometimes you just have to shoot at the thing in hopes that they duck, because your natural reaction when you're getting shot at is to duck behind cover.
Dara gives Yudu a jade pendant thing and tells him to put it into the engraving on the ground between the guardians and tells him to use the left and the right. Yudu digs out some fucking leaves that are in the thing in comedy relief, and then he puts the pendant in the hole, and then Dara face plants him into the ground and makes his nose bleed onto the talisman, and then the guardians come to life and mess up the helicopters.
Bang.
I have a note here that says, looks like the theme here is bleeding and blood, since young Asa's blood grabbed future Asa, and then the blood from Yuru activated the talisman for his daemon. So it seems blood and daemons are related somehow. The helicopters come crashing down, and Dara grabs Yuru, and Cool Guy walks away from the explosion as Gabby is like, oh damn, that was my ride home, gobble, 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 and then is like, whose demons were those anyway? Cuts back to Yudu and Dara, and the daemons are like, man, this kid is our master, what the hell? And then in this scene, they say that daemons work in pairs. So we have the left and the right. So they're a pair, obviously. Gabby's chompy monster is also a pair. One top and one bottom.
And then you have the brother and sister who are also probably demons who are a pair. I mean, yeah, twins.
So I actually did some research on the difference between a demon and a daemon. A daemon is considered more of like a benevolent spirit, not necessarily relating to something that's evil. And I believe it is of Greek origin. But then demon, in the Western way that we use it, is assuming some sort of evil spirit or negative connotation to what that spirit is. Because normally you don't call something good a demon. The daemon word is insinuating that there's different kinds and shit. So
Yeah, I like that.
So anyway, left and right show up. They're just like, hey, look at our master. He's so tiny and small. He tee hee ha. And then that's how the episode ends.
I liked it. I thought this show was cool.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
was
going to
alright.
have some cool flair. And the demons, or the Daemons,
The Matt Damons, yeah.
the Matt Daemons look jacked.
Yeah.
And they have cool hair. So he has 2 horns and she has 1 in the middle of her head. I'm going to go back and see something real quick. Yep, they did it. Good job, guys. 2 and 1.
Yeah, so it's good so far. I mean, they have nice little attention to detail, and I'm trying to like keep track of all these little things. I haven't figured out what that red ball was, or if that has any meaning, the one that fell out of Yudu's jacket and was rolling around in Asa blood. And I don't know exactly what the granny does yet and what the village is doing and all that stuff and what the importance of Yudu is.
My theory is that the granny has all the answers, and I don't think she's dead. And I think that, yes, the siblings are meant to be kept apart to a certain extent, but they very possibly had Asa, the young Asa, caged up just to play a part so that the older Asa and Yuru never meet each other. And I think that Asa wants to tear down this government that's been set up to keep these kinds of siblings apart for the safety of like humanity. Because if they were to come together, they'd be immensely powerful and be able to like destroy governments and topple empires and stuff like that. And Yuru is raised in the good way, whereas Asa is like militarily trained and realizes later that she wants to do good.
Yeah, so in my limited Japanese knowledge here, DJ Montague can correct me if I'm wrong, since he is the Japanese subject matter expert of all culture and language. You know, Asa means morning, and then Yoru is night. But his name is Yudu, so I don't know if they did that on purpose or if that's meant to be something else. But I guess it's interesting that Asa, who looks like she would be night, is actually
He also had
day.
an eye patch. Like, she obviously has been somewhat, like, in battle of some sort. Or maybe she has the Sharingan and fucking that eye patch is going to come off and it's like a demon eye that whatever she looks at, she can obliterate.
Saiga's theory was there is 2 villages, one with Yoru and one with Asa in it. And then Asa broke out of her village, or someone helped break her out of her village. And then she like learned the truth. So now she's going to Yuru's village to try to break him out.
I like this show. I'm excited to watch it.
That is the conclusion of Daemons of the Shadow Realm episode 1 and the conclusion of our episode for tonight.
Yes. Greg, if you had to give number ratings on every episode we watched so far, what would they be? Just off the cuff. No thinking too hard.
I would have to plug it into the calculation.
No,
and then-
don't. No, that's what I'm saying. Don't do that.
But then I can't do that because everything
No,
will either
Greg,
be like a
you-
0 or a 10. But no, okay. I would have to say real quick, Nippon Sangoku. Just right now, yeah, I mean, right, it's high. 8 or 9, just for that single episode. Yeah, Wisteria, I don't know. It's like 5 or 6 or something like that. Marriage Toxin was fun. I'd probably say it maybe sits at like a 7 right now. And then Matt Damon of the Shadow Realm. Yeah, I don't know, probably around 6 or 7 as well.
I think I'm excited for everything we're watching this season. I'm actually like really juiced.
That concludes our episode for today. Everyone, thank you for checking us out at the Anime Book Club podcast. You can find more podcast episodes just like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, anywhere that you listen to podcasts by looking up the Anime Book Club podcast. You can also go to our website, theanimebookclub.com, which has links to all of that stuff as well. Instagram, Anime Book Club podcast. Also check out IT-Aesthetics. And don't forget to use promo code TABSY10 or TABSY5 at checkout for your anime streetwear needs. They have a new drop featuring Gachiakuta. So if you enjoy Gachiakuta, wear your enjoyment literally on your back by visiting IT-Aesthetics.com and visit gamersups.com GG and use promo code DJ Montague at checkout for 10% off of your entire order of powdered gaming caffeinated supplements or uncaffeinated supplements or food or shirts or mouse pads. I think that's all we got for you.
Yeah. So the moral of the story this week, friends, is the world changes every day. And it's up to us to adapt just a little bit every single time and learn, absorb, be better, be more cognizant of the changing world, change yourself, grow. Not like Rosti grows, like normal people grow.
All right, we got nothing else for you. So this is where DJ Montague tells you.
See you guys next week.
You can say goodbye.
See you next week. You're going to say goodbye. I have to tell you to say goodbye.
But you need to tell them goodbye.
Goodbye, friends. See you next week.
Goodbye.
Thank you, friends, for checking out the Anime Book Club podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
And if you don't want to miss the next one, follow us on the socials where we announce new episodes, content, and other cool stuff. You can also check out our anime list with our rankings and follow along with what we're currently watching and what we have watched in the past.
All the links are in the description. See you in the next one. Bye!